Buenas noches, rockers, ¿cómo están? Nos encontramos otra vez aquí en otra entrega más de la Rockentrevista. Estamos aquí con
¿Qué
el
hay,
Mike P
amigos?
para
¿Cómo están,
una gran
amigos?
entrevista. ¿Cómo que qué tenemos hoy? ¿Qué tenemos en el menú de hoy, Mike? Cuéntanos.
Hoy tenemos al señor Anthony Corder de Tora Tora en entrevista. Lo tenemos como invitado y bueno, pues estamos ya listos para hacer esta entrevista, este vocalista de esta gran banda de hard rock de los ochentas. ¿Tú cómo
Sí.
estás, Dani?
Bien, bien, bien. Aquí ya, mira, ya listo con mi trago, esperando
Ajá.
ya poder platicar.
Salud.
Ya estuvimos platicando un tantito ahí con Anthony Corder, un tipazo.
Ujú, ujú.
Y pues, ¿qué te parece si nos vamos directamente? No les aburramos nosotros a la gente que vean a Anthony Corder de Tora Tora. Vámonos directo a la entrevista, mi Mike. Salucita.
Claro que sí, vieja. Salud. Bienvenidos, amigos de Rocker Issues. Salud.
Welcome, Anthony Corder, Mr.
Anthony,
Anthony
Anthony,
Corder. How are you? Cheers.
how are you, my friend?
At Rocker Issues, thank you guys so much for having me, man. It's a pleasure to see you guys. Cheers.
Thank you. Cheers.
Aquí le damos la bienvenida al maestro Anthony Corder. Anthony, it's such a great pleasure to have you right here. We will be translating this. We will be asking you some questions, and we will translate to the audience these questions. But Anthony, just a real honor to have you here. One of the greatest bands of that ages of that times of the hair metal.
Thank you guys so much, man. It's so great to talk to everybody. I'm thinking about all you guys, man. Everywhere that everybody's listening in from. Thank you so much, man, for tuning in today.
Thank you, Anthony. ¿Quieres que preguntemos? Que hagamos la primera pregunta, Anthony.
Adelante, Mike.
Okay, here's the first question, Anthony. Can you tell us about the origin of the name Tora Tora? Why you decide to put the name Tora Tora to the band?
And also having a compliment with that is we know that the very first name you came up with was Free Beer. Just let us translate this. ¿Cuál es el origen del nombre de la banda? Y sabemos que el nombre principal, el primer nombre en el que tuvieron ellos era cerveza gratis. Pero go ahead, Anthony. Go ahead with your answer.
Well, man, the name came off of Van Halen, Women and Children First, is where we found it. We had a friend. We started out in high school together, the whole band. Okay. Patrick Francis and I went to one high school. Keith Douglas, the guitar player, and John Patterson, the drummer, went to another high school. And one of our friends at school, it was a girl named Kelly Coffey. She made a list of band names for us, and we actually picked Tora Tora off of it. We were huge Van Halen fans. And we had, at the time, there was a local surge in Memphis where we were of young bands. And at the time, there was not a lot of places for original people to play. So we wanted to do some gigs out. And at the beginning, of course, we were thinking, what's the easiest way to get some people out? So we said, let's put our name Free Beer out front and see if
it sounded great. Also, it was also a great name, you know? What's also a great one.
Yes, man. We played, our first gig was at a place called the College Inn. It was over near University of Memphis. And they paid a free keg of beer, and we invited all of our friends in. They listened to us go through about 10 songs. We did some Bad Company, some Aerosmith. The played 2112. They did the first 3 songs on 2112, so they did some instrumental stuff. We did Cheap Trick. We love classic rock. You know, that was kind of where we started.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. So let us translate. Go ahead, Mike. Or
vas, viejo.
Sí, aquí lo que nos comenta Anthony es que tuvieron un amigo ahí, estaban en el pasado ahí en la escuela, y llegó como con un gran número de nombres, pero el que más le llamó la atención fue el de Tora Tora. Eso fue lo que les atrajo. Fue como que el que más se les quedó en la mente, con el que tuvieron más empatía con ese nombre, que también tenían el nombre de cerveza gratis por ahí, por temas también de la escuela. Anthony, bueno, first let me tell this in Spanish. La siguiente pregunta es acerca de qué hizo antes Anthony, antes de entrar a la fama, antes de ser una estrella del rock. Exacto, ¿qué es lo que hacía? Anthony, before you became famous and a big rock star, you had a job or something. I guess before Surprise Attack you were like 18 years old. What were you doing for a job or something? What was that? Tell us, please.
Keith, the guitar player, and I we cut grass for a living.
That's cool.
Cutting grass. Okay.
My mom was a real estate agent in Memphis, so she would sell properties, and Keith got a pickup to carry our equipment around in, our amps and stuff. And so we could load the lawnmowers in there and go make a little bit of extra money. And y'all, we used to drive around dreaming about being in the studio and just thinking about how cool it would be if we got in and got to record. And then would we ever get a song on the radio? Could that even be like a big blue sky dream? And we did that up until we got signed to the record deal. We were Keith's dad had a company, a glue factory. That's where we used to rehearse.
Okay.
Big warehouse, and he kind of worked there part time for his dad, and worked with me, some with my mom. But man, we were dreamers. We just believed in rock and roll.
You always have to keep dreaming. That's right. Yeah.
It was really
to get what you want.
And we love music. All of us were really crazy about it, and we were just lucky. We had a couple of people that believed in us. What I was telling y'all before, I know you have to translate this, but I'll kind of tell you.
No, that's okay. That's okay. We catch the idea, you know.
There was a great music scene in Memphis at the time. There were a lot of studios were producing up and coming bands and letting them do original music. There was one venue that was down on Bill Street. It's a really famous street in Memphis. Blues, W.C. Handy, started at the trumpet player, and all the blues players that you've known about. There's a crossroads right there at 4th and Bill. That's where they call the crossroads for Memphis, anyway.
Yeah,
and it's really awesome. If you guys ever get to visit Memphis, you have to contact me so I can give you all.
Sure,
okay, sure, my friend.
You'll be there. You'll be there.
There was a venue called the New Daisy that was there, and the manager of it was very supportive. He did all ages shows because kids that were not 21, you had to be 21 to drink in the bars on Bill Street. He gave them a venue to go to and see live music, and it was original music, and it was amazing. We had the venue through him. There was a local radio station, Rock 98. They did a locals only show that would promote everybody once a week. They had a weekly show. Everybody was trying to get on the radio station. He was a super guy. His name was Malcolm Riker. He was a local DJ, and he actually got our song on the radio.
That's pretty cool.
Helped us get started. And so between that and the live gigs and working with the radio station, we actually won a contest and got in a studio, a place called Ardent Studios. Any of your listeners or people that are viewing right now, look up Ardent Studios in Memphis. It's world famous, man. Led Zeppelin, Stevie Ray Vaughan, all these different everybody recorded there. And so we cut some demos there when we very first started. And we actually cut an EP at first, a little 5-song cassette.
Okay.
And it was Rock to Roll was the name of it. And it had like this shattering
yes, I heard.
image on the front of it. And but anyway, we were lucky because there was a lot of support. People were coming out, the young people were coming, and we had a big audience, like automatically. All these underage people needed somewhere to go, so they would show up. And I'll let you say that, and then I got another story about the warehouse that I'll tell you about.
Okay. That's cool. So let me translate just a little bit. Okay. Nos mencionaba aquí Anthony Corder que bueno, antes de llegar a la fama, antes de llegar a ser rockstar, su mamá estaba dedicada a temas de ventas de inmuebles, una inmobiliaria. Entonces tenía la oportunidad de cortar el pasto de las casas y ganarse una lanita, ganarse unos billullos para poder llegar a su sueño. Como decía él, eran unos soñadores que pensaban y querían llegar a ser estrellas de rock. también adelante nos estaba comentando aparte también de la Beale Street, que ahorita le preguntaremos de Beale Street. Beale Street es una calle de Memphis, es tan importante como la Bourbon Street en Estados Unidos. La Beale Street es bastante importante, y de hecho el último disco que hicieron en 2019, Bastards of Bill, ese disco viene a colación con ese tema. Mike, ahorita estaba mencionando también, Anthony, que llegaron a un warehouse, y llegaron ahí una bodega donde ensayaban y todo, y creo que ahí traías una pregunta para Anthony.
Yo traigo una pregunta. Primero le voy a hacer la pregunta en español. De hecho, yo le quería comentar que pues uno de los medios por los cuales yo conocí a Tora Tora en los 80s fue precisamente el programa de Headbangers Ball y las revistas que publicaban de Reed Magazine and Hit Parader, all that, todas esas revistas, ¿no? Entonces, Anthony, I want to tell you that I met the band by reading all these magazines, Reed Magazine, Hit Parade, all that magazines of heavy metal and rock. And I met your first video. I know your video Guilt. So, I saw for the first time at the Headbangers Ball, the Ricky Rackman's program.
Oh,
so that's I like very much. And I want to show you something that maybe is going to be very happy, because
this is huge, Anthony. This is huge.
It's a photograph.
Oh my God!
It's the first article from you guys. You know,
it's an article from Ed Esposito that is in the cover of the magazine is that.
Yes, man, this is so cool.
Yes,
oh man.
Yes, I have a lot of these magazines, and I found this note from Ed Esposito, and it explains about you were recording the first video in the streets of Memphis, no?
Yes, that was it.
Yes.
The picture that you just saw was Bill Street. We were standing in the middle of Bill Street.
That's cool.
That's what I.
And the first video we shot on Bill Street. It was at a place called Handy's Hall on Bill Street. It was a little tiny venue, and we wanted to kind of capture us with our audience, kind of in an intimate environment. We had a big warehouse where we used to rehearse, and it was empty. Keith's father owned it. It was right next door to the Coliseum where all the big concerts happen. And we kind of got the overflow from all the concerts. So we would throw a party when they would have a concert. And people would be traveling out from their cars and come over and come into our place. And it was huge, man. We hung carpets on the wall. We had big black garbage bags everywhere. And it was a place where young kids could come in.
Cool.
We had two football players that worked the door. They would take money, and then they would be the bouncers, so nobody could get in trouble fighting or getting too crazy.
Oh, you get bouncers. You get bouncers.
Yeah.
Oh, that's cool. Okay.
So the place turned to a club.
Yeah, our rehearsal place turned into a club.
Your rehearsal studio to a club. Okay.
Our record labels that signed us came there to see us play in front of the audience. We invited them. It was Virgin and A&M, and all the big major record labels came there. And then, of course, we did some other showcases at regular venues, but. The guy that signed us to A&M, he told us he got on a flight and he landed, and he said when he got in his rent-a-car, he turned the radio on and our song was playing. And he said,
"Wow, wow!"
How you felt about that? How you felt? What's your feelings at that moment to hearing your song?
It was incredible, y'all. It was so amazing to hear your song. We had worked and rehearsed and just dreamed and thought. Put in a lot of blood, sweat, and tears, really, honestly. I mean, we worked hard. And to hear it on the radio, to hear your voice and to hear people call in and say a comment about it and,
asking for the song and
Yeah, it was awesome. But we shot Walking Shoes on Bill Street. And it was a crazy experience for us. We had never done anything like that before. And we owe a lot to the video producers and the studio that we were working with at the time, Ardent Studios. They had a video production company, so they helped us get all the material, equipment, and everything together for it. So it was just awesome. It was so cool to do it in front of our hometown audience. And
such a surprise.
Yeah, it was great.
That's very great.
Right. Mike, adelante con la traducción.
Mira, bueno, lo que le estaba preguntando acerca del lugar donde ensayaban, pues estaba comentando Anthony que primero pues fue un lugar donde estaban ensayando, lo acondicionaron para ensayar, era pues, como una bodega, ahora sí que la acondicionaron, yo sabía que era como una fábrica de pegamento, glue factory, so, y bueno, después todo esto pues, empezó a crecer porque empezaron a ir los amigos. Después ya todo este estudio de grabación se tornó en un club. Ya no era solo un estudio, ya no era solo una sala de ensayos, ¿no? Sino se convirtió en un club y ya está tan bien organizado. Exactamente. Tenían hasta gente de seguridad y todo. Entonces, pues la verdad es que todo creció muy bien y pues tenían el lugar donde podían tocar y pues la gente iba a verlos, ¿no? De esa manera, pues, se dieron mucho a notar. Y bueno, ahorita lo que comentaba Anthony acerca de un día que estaban llegando de un vuelo, que bajó del avión y tomó un taxi, escuchó la canción de Tora Tora, estaba escuchando la radio, el chico del taxi, y pues se da cuenta, ¿no? De que pone la canción de Tora Tora y pues se quedó impresionado, ¿no? Fue una grata sorpresa la que recibió, ¿no?
Sí, Dani. Correcto. Sí, que sintió esa emoción de escucharse en el taxi, bajándose del avión. Eso es algo, un sentimiento indescriptible. Anthony, let us go with the comments from the audience. We have here some comments. We have cheers from Fernos.
Hey, Fernos.
Fernos.
Fernos, she has just 2 questions for Anthony. She hadn't sent any questions right now. Beltrán Edgar, saludos. Just in case, he's part of the staff here. He couldn't make it today, but Tora Tora, awesome band.
Joseph, thank
you. This one is from me. Hi, Mike. He lives in Miami and he knows you. He's also a huge fan from you. You guys.
Thank you, Mike.
Just in case, we want Tora Tora in Mexico. Don't forget about us.
We would love to play Mexico. That's a bucket list for us. We've never been there.
It's one of the questions that we want to ask you. That if would be in the future, can you take the band to Mexico City to have concerts here?
Man, we would love. We need to trade out. We should do a show, and then you guys send a band with us to Memphis.
Okay.
We can play. That'd be great.
Un saludo para Rock School, Chris. Un saludo por allá.
Salud.
Tenemos aquí. Here's one. Anthony, just a question, please. This one is funny, you know. Love is still a bitch. What songs you're really proud of? Why?
Oh man, it's pretty crazy nowadays, man. I've kind of settled down. I'm married. I have 3 little boys, and they're not little anymore. They're grown up. But
okay,
I kind of got settled in, and I've been really blessed, man. I'm really proud of my children, and my wife's wonderful, and it's been wild. But we still love the song. We still play that all the time. That was one of the first songs that was on the first EP, so that was a really early song for Tora Tora.
Oh, really cool. Anthony, let me ask you this one. Let me just do it in Spanish first. Le voy a preguntar del momento en que con el disco Surprise Attack, cuando entran a grabar la primera canción, ¿cuál fue su sentir? ¿Cómo vivió ese momento? Anthony, back on the day when you recorded the first song for the Surprise Attack album, how you felt coming from cutting the grass, getting to the studio, and starting to record the very first song of your career? How you felt? Can you remember that first moment entering into the studio?
Yeah, I totally remember. We had a little bit of experience before we recorded the record because we had done the EP, but man, it was just incredible. We were so lucky. There was a guy named Paul Ebersole. He was our producer, and also a guy named Joe Hardy. And Joe had done a lot of the ZZ Top records, the Afterburners, and all.
Joe Hardy.
He was incredible, yeah. And so they just made us really comfortable. They knew that we were inexperienced. We were kind of new in the studio, but I just remember going in and them turning the mic on, and I put my headphones on like this. I walked in.
Okay.
Oh my God, it sounded.
You were like, is this for real? Is this for real? This is the real shit? Or what's happening, right?
We couldn't believe it. It was so amazing. The studio was awesome. The people that ran the studio were incredible. They were super patient with us. And at the very beginning, we were a little intimidated just because it was kind of overwhelming, just to be honest with you. We knew that it was a big opportunity. And but they made us really feel comfortable. As soon as we started listening, we couldn't believe how we sounded. Like, they were amazing with the engineering and the producing and everything. We just said, "Oh my God, we sound awesome," you know. And so that kind of started giving us some confidence. But at the very beginning, we were so excited. I mean, I can still feel it today.
That's pretty cool. That's great. That's great. Yeah.
We loved it.
It's one of the greatest moments of your life, no? Being in your first recording.
Yeah, it definitely was.
That's cool. Well, lo que nos mencionaba aquí Anthony es que ese momento en que entra al estudio, bueno, que entra Tora Tora al estudio, personalmente el momento de ponerse los audífonos, de tomar el micrófono, era una cosa irreal, algo que pensaba que casi no estaba sucediendo, pero un momento, como lo escribía Michael, uno de los momentos más importantes en su vida, y que realmente, a pesar de que ya habían grabado un EP, pero este era el momento de entrar a grabar ya un disco. Entonces esa sensación era importante, y los productores que tuvieron en esa ocasión, la gente que estuvo ahí con ellos en la grabación, sobre todo el productor, les dio mucha confianza. Y que aquí también, Mike, tú tenías una pregunta acerca de este aspecto de la producción. Entonces,
sí. ¿Quieres adelante? Se la voy a hacer. Dale, sí, claro que sí. Quiero preguntarle a Anthony, pues ahorita, bueno, él como músico ya después de haber grabado varios discos con Tora Tora, bueno, sé que ahora es un productor, está como productor, y pues quería preguntarle, pues, cómo es la experiencia que ha tenido ahorita como productor. So, Anthony, I know you're a musician, you have records with Tora Tora, and now you are as a producer. So, I want to ask you, how is the experience that you have and the moments that kind of experience left you being a producer?
Well, man, my background now is geared towards artist development.
Okay.
I like helping. I was really lucky. I had mentors, a couple of people that were really important to me. Number one was the guy at the studio, John Fry at Ardent Studios. And then my manager, he ended up working with me on the first record. And then he moved on to work at a record label. He stepped out of management. And 15 years after I met him, I ended up starting to work at a record label. I worked for RCA and Sony Music here in Nashville in marketing and artist development. And that's where my heart is. Anybody that's passionate about music, that wants to be involved in the music industry, I just want to encourage them. It's so amazing, the reach, the fact that all of us can sit here and have a drink and talk to each other right now. It just blows my mind that we're all connected through music, man. It's so powerful. And music is amazing. There's a connection, there's a sense of belonging and community and culture that we can all get together and be in this moment together and listen to music. And it's so powerful. So now I try to help up and coming artists. I try to help them with everything from their creative aspects to, I'm a professor. I'm an entertainment business professor at a college.
Oh, really?
Okay.
Yeah. That's cool. Pretty cool. Go ahead.
In the music industry to help those people that are starting out. And I don't have the end all answer, but I have one perspective that I can share with them and tell them about things maybe to help them, you know. So that's where I am now. I do that. And then of course we're recording and writing and so still passionate about the creative part, man. I love that. I'm still crazy about it. We're promoting a couple of records right now.
Oh, this cool.
Got this one.
Oh, this one is the acoustic one, right? The one that you made it acoustic, yeah.
And then this one was on Frontiers, the Bastards of Bill.
We're going to talk about that in a few moments. We're going to talk about that because it's a huge record, and you're still hitting the high notes. You know, you still hit the high notes. So yeah, we're going to talk about.
I'm trying to hang in there, man. Somebody asked a minute ago what I was really proud of. I love this record.
Well America.
Yeah. America is my favorite records.
There was a guy named John Hampton that produced it. we worked with him for 2 years on this album because we were touring. And it was something I'm really super proud of, the whole band. We had kind of grown up a lot. We had toured for 2 years. We kind of got really tight. You got more confident in your abilities and stuff. So anyway, that one was a lot of fun. But man, we're still crazy about it. We're still fans. We still love seeing people singing and playing, and we just still love the music, man.
Okay, that's cool.
That's great.
Mike, adelante con la...
Sí. Bueno, lo que le estaba preguntando a Anthony es acerca de que él ahora como productor, pues cuál es los momentos que le ha dejado, ¿no? La experiencia que ha tenido ahora como productor. Y bueno, pues nos comenta que él, inclusive ahorita, pues dentro de sus comentarios nos dijo que él es profesor también, da clases de business music. Bueno, pues también obviamente habló acerca del productor con el que estaban grabando, que pues lleva 15 años conociendo a este músico, bueno, este productor, y que posteriormente se volvió su manager, ¿no? Y bueno, pues él es al quien le ha preguntado todos los consejos y es como que de quien ha tomado todo el conocimiento. Y bueno, pues esa es la experiencia que nos dice. Realmente la experiencia ahorita pues la está adquiriendo, sino que ahorita lo que está tratando él de hacer es ayudar a nuevos grupos, a nuevas bandas.
Exacto, como lo tuvieron con él, ¿no? Como cuando ellos empezaron a grabar.
Fue en su momento, exactamente.
Regresar como que el favor, ¿no? Adelante, Max, sí, nada más era.
Sí. Ahí. Entonces, y dice, bueno, realmente ahorita nuestra como misión es, pues ayudar, precisamente como nos tocó a nosotros en su momento. Ahora nosotros queremos enseñarle a las bandas, pues todo el camino, ¿no? Tanto de la producción como la composición. Y bueno, pues es algo que pues les gusta muchísimo, es algo, bueno, así que como un sueño, ¿no? Que están cumpliendo, ¿no? Ya no solo ser como músicos, sino también como productores y pues fomentando y apoyando a nuevas bandas, ¿no?
Claro. Ahora sí que yo creo que es momento de hacer la pregunta de la casa. La pregunta de la casa es, ya saben, la del carrito del súper, de a quién atropellaría con el carrito del súper en un supuesto imaginario. Pero vamos aquí, Anthony, this is a question that we make to all the people that come to the show. This is a question that maybe you can say no. I know the rules in America, the laws in America are kind of something. But this is imagine, just in a supposition.
An imaginary question.
Yeah, in an imaginary world, you are in a supermarket. You have your supermarket shop card. You have this card, and you have this someone, a personality of the music that you can run over with this supermarket card. Who would that be?
That's a hard question. I don't know.
We do this all the time. So go ahead, Anthony.
We've had a lot of experiences meeting people. Most of the time, we've gotten along with everybody. We toured with Jason Bonham, the drummer.
Yeah.
Over Let's Play, yeah.
We toured with Jason's band, LA Guns.
LA Guns.
Kicks.
Kicks, I mean.
Yeah,
it's an amazing band.
Yeah, they're so great. We were
and also Dangerous Toys, too.
Dangerous Toys. Hey, I still talk to Jason. I love that guy. You talk about
him.
Yeah, I love that band, too.
Jason is hitting some high notes. That guy can sing, man. He's still great.
Man. You Phantom Rider. Oh, God. Phantom Rider. My goodness. That nose.
Yeah.
Oh, God.
It's up there, man. That was fun. You don't really think about you'd be doing it over and over every night. When you're in the studio, it's like easy. You got a microphone right in front of you, and then you get out on the road. Like, oh my God, here comes.
You're so humble, man. You're so humble. You got the notes. You got the notes.
Yeah. Oh man, we still love it. We wrote that song with a friend of mine, Thomas Howard. He wrote a lot of songs on Surprise Attack. He wrote Hard Times, Being There. He wrote on Phantom Rider. He and I wrote it. And it was really funny. He lived in my neighborhood. He was a bass player. And we started talking to each other about music. He used to walk his dog every night, and I would see him outside. And he was really into progressive rock, like Rush and Yes and all that. And I like Zeppelin. So we were me and him were kind of bumping heads.
Yeah.
We became friends. And so I remember sitting on the edge of my bed and grabbing the guitar, like this.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
And just going, I wonder what this is going to be. I don't know what this is going to, but man, it was so fun. I sat down with him. We went through the music. He was really great with lyrics. So he would always have a lot of lyrics, and we would sit around and I would kind of help him put melodies and stuff to it. And he was just so fun. We still talk. I write him and text him all the time. We've known each other for 30 years. I still talk to him, and we're still really good friends. But yeah, man, we love it. We love doing the music. We love seeing the fans. We miss everybody like crazy. So we can't wait. But running over somebody, I got to figure that out. I don't know.
Come on. Give us a name. Maybe give us a name. Maybe, I don't know, back in the days, someone that just said, oh my God, what this guy's doing? You have something, you have the beef with him. I don't know. Someone.
Yeah. I don't know. I never really had any. We had some local guys that we didn't get along with, I guess, but it was mostly just competitive. You know, it wasn't okay.
You weren't that.
But on the road, we were lucky. Everybody was really great to us, man. We were a tight group. There was 4 guys in the band, and we took 3 of our best friends as our crew guys. So there was like 7 of us. We were like a little group of Vikings. We would just like come in and like go crazy and tear and leave. So, but I can't think of anybody that just really, burned us or anything that we just couldn't get along with.
Not that much. Okay. That's okay.
Peace to all.
Yeah.
That's cool. Bueno, lo que nos decía Anthony es que, bueno, realmente ahorita puedes complementar acá, Mike, el tema de atropellar a alguien. Nos decía que realmente sí tenía tema ahí con algunos, con una gente local, con personas ahí que estaban ahí en la música y eso, pero realmente que una rivalidad tan fuerte como para llegar a atropellarlo con el carrito del súper, no se dio, como que realmente todos se llevaban muy bien. Eso está algo muy chido. Es una persona de paz, Anthony. Sí. Y sobre lo demás, si puedes ahí complementar, mi Mike.
Sí, todo lo que bueno, inclusive estaba comentando Anthony acerca de que pues tiene muy buena comunicación con algunos de los músicos con los que ha compartido el escenario. Mencionaba a Dangerous Toys, Steve, el vocalista, y mencionaba, por ejemplo, a LA Guns, que también pues son amigos, bueno, todavía se frecuentan, compartieron el escenario, con Kicks también, que es una gran banda, y bueno, también con Jason Bonham, el hijo del baterista de Led Zeppelin, exactamente, de John Bonham, y bueno, pues él realmente, y sí se nota, ¿no? Que la verdad es que él es paz, es amor y paz. Con todos ha tenido, ahora sí que con todas las personas con las que ha convivido en la industria de la música, en los conciertos, escenarios, pues ha tenido muy buena vibra, muy buena comunicación, o sea que pues realmente no nos podría decir a quién le podría aventar el carrito del supermercado, ¿no? No hay realmente quien podría mencionar. Y pues, pues digo, se vale, ¿no? También.
Claro,
¿no, Dani?
Claro.
Sí. Claro. I want to ask you, Anthony, do you like to play or do you like to hear country music? I know you live in Memphis, in Tennessee, in Nashville. So the country music is like a part of the culture in that state.
You're in Nashville, right? You're in Nashville right now?
Yeah, the band is based out of Memphis. I've been in Nashville for about 15 years.
Okay.
Moved up here back in 2005, and but yeah, country music. I'm actually from Mississippi. It's down in the Delta, like lots of blues, gospel. My family played. They weren't professionals. They were just what I call a porch picker. They kind of
porch picker.
But they played R&B, country, gospel music, all that kind of stuff. My mom played piano. I think they were my biggest influence, actually. I didn't realize it when I was younger, but as I got older, I realized that they had a lot of influence over me. And they listened to country music. They loved it. My mom was a fan of WSM, the Grand Ole Opry. That was a big radio station that broadcast out of Nashville, and she listened to that. So she played a lot of those songs around the house. And, it's different now. Country music, it's a lot of different segments to it. It's more kind of pop country kind of sounding now. It's a lot more people. You got loops in the background and things like that. But the traditional kind of stuff, like, Waylon Jennings and Willie Nelson and all those kind of things, there's still people that are doing that style of music. There's a guy named Simpson that's really progressive. He's an awesome guy to listen to. And man, I listen to everything. I'm a fan. I like. There's a band called Marcus King Band. It's a young. He's really.
Yes.
Okay, cool.
There's a rock band here in town called the East Side Gamblers. They're really great. I love them. They're awesome. And there's a guitar player, singer plays in Tom Kiefer's band.
Yeah, the Cinderella.
Tom Kiefer. Okay, it's cool. Yeah, from Cinderella. Yeah, Cinderella. Yeah.
And they live here. So a lot of the rock guys live here. Kip Winger lives here. There's a lot of 80s rock guys are here in Nashville. Mark Slaughter. There's a bunch of people.
Mark Slaughter also.
Yes, Mark Slaughter. If there's a possibility that in the future you can make or record a country record,
or do you want to play
to record some stuff of country music?
There's some demos, things of mine from a long time ago in Memphis. Actually, I recorded things that had pedal steel and had the violin and some elements of country. It's floating around on the internet. I'll send you a link to it for you guys.
Okay.
So,
Thank you, my friend.
Or I don't know. I'm kind of mellow as a writer and stuff, but with the Tora stuff, we're more kind of rock and roll. I think the blues influence is always going to be there just because of where we love that. My grandfather listened to like Mississippi John Hurt. He was like a big influence on my family and on me. And as I got older, when we were touring and stuff, I started backtracking. We worked with the Memphis Horns on our All America record, and they had played on all the Stax, the R&B, the soul Stax records, like Otis Redding and Wilson Pickett and all those guys.
Otis Redding, cool.
Yeah. And they were playing with Sting. They were on tour with Sting when we met them.
Okay.
But anyway, that was on Wild America. And then I started backtracking into blues. So I got into like Elmore James and like Louisiana Redneck. I found some of these more obscure people that I got into. And I used to be on Beale Street all the time. B.B. King had a club down there. I'd go and watch the
B.B. King. Oh, God. Oh, God. Oh, my.
I saw him at his birthday party in his club,
Really?
And
wow.
Albert King was there, on Beale Street. There was a bunch of great blues players through the years that we just followed and loved them. And Memphis is just a great community, man. There's so many talented people, and a lot of people come there just because of the vibe of the city. There's something, and I really don't know how to put my hand on it or how to explain it to y'all. I love Nashville because I live here, but Memphis is really similar. They just don't have the infrastructure. They don't have record labels and publishing companies and management companies. There's a ecosystem here in Nashville that support artists and stuff. Memphis is more, it has the structure, but it's kind of people are in bubbles. They're in specific areas that they're kind of working. And so it makes it really, really exciting. I love Memphis. I mean, you walk into any little place, hole in a wall, bar and look, and it's some guy that just blows your mind. I mean, they're just killer musicians.
I know. And when we get to Memphis, we should call you. You're in Nashville, but we're going to meet in Memphis. That's cool. That's cool. That's pretty cool. Anthony, let's translate a little bit this. Mike.
Sí, bueno, yo le pregunté primero que como músico, bueno, pues él vivió en Memphis y en Nashville y en Tennessee. Pues una de las preguntas como obligadas es como la música country, que es como también parte del folclore allá en ese estado. Es como de esa música obligada y que pues es también fabulosa, ¿no? Entonces, bueno, yo quería preguntarle de qué posibilidad hay, o si ha grabado algún tema, algún disco, o tiene planes de grabar algún disco de country, ¿no? De música country. Me dijo que sí, pues tiene ahí algunos demos.
Que todavía no se atreve a sacar, pero a ver si
que todavía no se atreve a sacar, sí, posiblemente en un futuro, pero sí es algo que también, pues es parte de la cultura que él tiene como músico. Sus papás fueron músicos, y bueno, pues su mamá, también le gusta mucho el blues y pues también tocaba blues. Y pues obviamente pues tiene toda la escuela, ¿no? Por parte de la familia en el aspecto musical, ¿no? Así es.
Sí, bueno, aquí,
no, inclusive también comentaba Anthony que bueno, pues con algunos músicos que también ha tocado rock, pues que también son blueseros, pues como por ejemplo estaba comentando acerca de Tom Kiefer de Cinderella, que pues también, pues también tienen ahí una relación y que pues también es parte de la música. Y de hecho es algo que su sonido también es como muy similar, ¿no? Si tú escuchas a la banda de Tora Tora en la parte del blues, tiene alguna similitud también con algunas bandas como ellos que también tienen esa raíz del rhythm and blues, ¿no?
Exacto,
Así
exactamente.
es, Dani. Sí.
Y precisamente ahorita hablando sobre ese tema de Bill Street, ahorita aquí va esta pregunta para Anthony, la voy a hacer en español. Esta calle es muy representativa en Estados Unidos de Bill Street, es como Bourbon Street en Nueva Orleans. Y el último disco que sacaron en 2019, de Bastards of Bill, es por cierto que es un discazo. Aquí lo que le quiero preguntar es, bueno, que nos hable un poco de este disco. ¿Por qué el nombre? Y sabemos que ahí se genera mucha música dentro de esa calle. En esa calle tiene mucha historia en Memphis. Anthony, I was telling the audience about your last record in 2019, the Bastards of Bill. That this come up with. I believe this one. Maybe you can correct me if I'm wrong, but I think this one is because of the Bill Street. This street is a very representative street for Memphis and for all America. It's like the Bourbon Street for New Orleans. Bill Street is for Memphis, and well, and I was telling the audience also that this is a great record. You still hit that great notes. I love this song, Silence the Sirens, but the one that I love the most is the prodigal son of a prodigal son. This one is it's a huge song. You have this you still have these heavy riffs, these riffs that give you something, and keep it's like going back in time, but with new things.
Yeah,
but it's really cool. You keep this essence of Tora Tora. You have this essence, and you still hit that high note. I know you say you can't, but I know you can do it. So tell us about this.
We were really intentional about trying to keep the Tora Tora vibe. We've been challenged with that for every project. You want to keep the elements that have people excited, but creatively we want to talk about something different and go somewhere different. And it had been a long time since we had recorded a new record, so we were nervous. We didn't know really what it was going to sound like. We didn't go back and get any previous material. We went in with a blank slate. We literally hung a piece of poster board on the wall like we used to when we were little kids and put the titles on it and just kind of checked it off at rehearsals. We did a ton of pre-production. We worked with a guy named Jeff Powell, and Jeff actually worked on this record. He was an assistant.
Well, America.
He was young like us back then. We've known him for 25 years. So he made us feel really at ease in the studio. We worked at Sam Phillips Recording. It's the guy, if your listeners or viewers don't know who Sam Phillips is, he is responsible for finding like Howlin' Wolf, Elvis Presley, Johnny Cash, Jerry Lee Lewis, Willie Orbison. Wow. Okay, he was like an icon in Memphis, and he ran Sun Records. And so when he sold Sun Records to RCA, he moved on the same street. He moved down the block to it was an old auto garage, and he revamped it and turned it into a studio, like gutted it and turned it into something new. And this was back in the the 60s or whatever. And this studio is still decorated exactly like it was when he was there.
That's really cool. So you get there and it was, we're back in time. We're back in time,
yeah.
So I got to tell you how this story is. It's a little bit long, but really quickly.
Yeah, sure. Go ahead.
The studio is amazing. Everybody from Bob Dylan to Robert Plant. He's one of my favorite singers. Wow. He had recorded there, man. And I got to like stand in the room, where he did all that. So anyway, we recorded the record. We tried to do it live. We got as much of the stuff live, the bass and drums and rhythm guitars. They were in the room and I was in an ISO booth. So I was kind of looking at them. And we just did it live, man. We tried to get it as close to what we would sound like if you came to see us at a concert. And the really cool thing, y'all, is the studio has like 3 floors. Okay, there's a bottom floor with all the studios. There's another floor that was kind of an empty distribution room. It had like red shag carpet, and these crazy lights and stuff. And then upstairs were the offices. And when you do a tour, you can't take any pictures on the 3rd floor. You gotta, you know, it's where Sam's office was and everything. So when I got ready to sing the record, there a really famous soul singer, this guy named William Bell, wanted to be in the studio that day. And I was from Nashville, so I was like, I gotta sing. I want to be in Memphis to sing the record. I don't want to sing in Nashville. I want to sing in Memphis. And I said, just put me anywhere. When I walked in, they said, come here, we want to show you something. They took me upstairs, and
to the 3rd floor.
Doors were open, and my microphone was sitting in his office.
Oh, God.
Oh, wow.
I sang the whole record.
That's insane.
There.
All 10 of those
in the office.
Cool, man. It was such a cool vibe. There was these little white leather chairs. Each one of them had an ashtray next to it. It looked like Sam was fixing to walk in. I mean, it was so cool. It was just, I mean, I got chill bumps telling y'all. It was so.
That's a big surprise. That was a big surprise.
The memories, and you got the chills, and you got that's pretty cool. That's pretty cool. That makes you. Most of the people think that the rock stars are like aliens, and they don't feel, or they are like demigods. But you're still human, and most of the people don't know that. That's pretty cool that you share these kind of things that still make you chills. You give you chills, you know.
We had a great time. It was really inspiring. We loved the record. We did it really fast. We did everything in about 9 days, I think. We recorded everything and had it mixed, and we were on a really tight budget. Just with time and money, really, we were trying to get in and out really quickly. But we did a lot of work before, so we were really proud of it. It was a good picture of where we are for that record. Now we're still writing. We're getting ready for new recordings.
Sorry, Anthony. I just was about to ask you about that. I know you have break with your record label. You have finished that contract, and so you're going on your own. You're gonna record something. There's something more coming from Tora Tora.
Yeah, absolutely, man. I think we're gonna. With the pandemic happening and everything, it kind of slowed us down. But we talk like through Zoom. Keith and I, do our live streams to each other and everything. We're hoping in the next month or so we'll be able to. Everybody can get around each other and be safe. I've seen Keith probably more than anybody, the guitar player. We've seen each other a couple of times, but we've got a lot of killer music. That Bastards of Being was brand new. We had just came up with those ideas.
Thank you for that.
And we've been inspired. We went all the way across the country. We went from Maine all the way out to California. We played shows, about 20 or 25 shows, 2019. And we were looking forward to 2020, but of course everybody got put on pause for a minute. So we can't wait. We're going to get in as soon as everything's safe with us being around each other. We're going to get in and do some recording, and we can't wait to share the new music we are.
Oh, we would love to have
an amazing surprise.
Yeah,
we're very happy to
let us
hear
know.
that,
let us know when you have this music, when you have, and you can share it. We will be really glad to share it right here in Rocker Issues. Señores, nos acaban de decir que viene nueva música de Tora Tora y
material.
New things. Let us translate the whole thing. Nos estaba comentando aquí Anthony sobre todo este tema del disco, de su último disco, Bastards of Bill. Sí trataron ellos de seguir con esa línea, con esa esencia que tiene Tora Tora. Nos comentaban que siguieron con esa línea, no quisieron, o sea, sí trasladaron un poco para acá, pero sí quisieron seguir con esa esencia. También nos comentó una anécdota ahí del tema cuando llegan a los estudios, que realmente eran como cuando ellos iniciaron, que era muy parecido. Mike, no sé si quieras ahí agregar algo, continuar.
Sí, mira, lo que comentaba Anthony es que el estudio cuando era un estudio de 3 pisos, 2 pisos, ¿no? Planta baja, pues es la parte donde está el estudio, la segunda planta es donde está la parte de la distribución, y en la parte de arriba, hasta arriba, están las oficinas, ¿no? Que es donde comentaba que pues está todo el material, y y bueno, al momento de sacar el disco, pues decían que lo querían, quería que lo tocara, ¿no? Creo que era en Tennessee, ¿no? Pero él decía que no, que lo quería tocar, creo que en Memphis, ¿no? En Memphis. Y bueno, pues ese era ahí como que el parteaguas, y fue una sorpresa la que le dieron en el momento de llegar al estudio, y bueno, pues subieron al 3er piso, salud amigos, cheers, subieron al 3er piso, y se da cuenta que pues hay un pedestal ya puesto en la oficina y pues tenía ya todo acomodado para que pudieran tocar el disco ahí, ¿no? Y realmente Anthony pues no sabía esto, fue realmente una sorpresa, lo cual pues le agradó muchísimo y pues fue también como una de esas gratas, de esos gratos momentos, ¿no? Que vivieron pues, con el estreno de este disco, ¿no? Que sacaron en el 2019, el Bastards of Bale, que es un gran disco. Y bueno, tú le estabas haciendo una pregunta acerca de una de las canciones, ¿no, Dani?
Exactamente. Son of a Prodigal Son, que es una
Son of a
gran
Prodigal
canción.
Son.
Exactamente, que tiene unos riffs y mantiene. Y aparte
Ajá.
le decía a Anthony que él mantiene todavía las notas altas, como en Phantom Rider, tiene todavía esa voz. Ahorita, de hecho, sería importante preguntarle cómo mantiene su voz, porque sí, yo he visto algunos shows en algunos gigs donde la voz de repente se les va. ¿Te parece, Mike? Si vamos, Anthony, let's go with some more comments from the audience.
Of the audience.
Yes, we have here. They are saying hi from Daniel Pozo. Saludos, Guadalajara, Jalisco.
Yes.
Here's another one. Ramón Araiza, chingón
Ramón Araiza.
He's a friend of mine.
Saludos, Ramón.
Sobrina.
Ramón.
Aquí nos preguntan. From Mexico, which bands do you know from Mexico? Do you know any bands from?
Have you heard bands from Mexico?
Man, I was going to ask you guys, who's the people I should be listening to right now? Who are you guys digging? That was going to be my question to you guys.
Okay.
Oh,
que quiere conocer bandas de México entonces, ¿no? No conoce bandas. Okay, o sea, do you want to recommend some bands from Mexico? Yes.
Do you want ándale, Mike, recomiéndale bandas.
Sí, ok, mira, bueno, pues tenemos aquí una muy buena banda que se llama, bueno, bandas que digamos que son de la vieja escuela, digamos, pues entrevistamos hace poco a la Botellita de Jerez, al señor Sergio Arau, ¿a quién más? Bueno, Caifanes. Santa Sabina. There's a few bands, Anthony, that make a lot of history here in Mexico as a rock band.
Right.
I will send you the numbers and the links so you can hear it later. But most of the bands have transcend. It's Botellita de Jerez. It's like a traditional rock band from the 80s.
Oh,
in the beginning of the 80s.
Yeah.
And they also put a club for it's like the same experience that you have with the warehouse.
Yes.
With Tora Tora. They also made a warehouse to rehearsal, to have the rehearsals, and later made them as a club. The club was Rocotitlan, and it was a very famous club here in Mexico named Rocotitlan. This place.
It was a spot for all the new bands, but yes. There was not a funny thing, but there was you need to be there. You need to sing your original songs, just not covers, just music from your own. So that was one of the things you need to do. So this was a space open for all the new bands, but Botellita Jerez is one of the. It's like the father of the godfather for
Mexican
the music
rock
here for the Mexican rock. So you should listen to them. And yeah, that's really cool. This is a really cool band. And I don't know. Maybe we will send you a huge list.
Yes,
there are great bands.
We'll share it on our social media and stuff. We'd love to do that.
Yeah. Also, I was about to ask you, as I was telling the audience, that how you take care of your voice to still hit that high notes. So could you let us know how you do it? What's your trick? I want to know that,
Oh, you guys are going to laugh at this. I have a vocal warm-up tape that I've had since 1990.
Oh, okay.
It's from a guy named Don Lawrence. He was from New York. It's really, it went from a cassette tape to like a little now I have it on my phone, and it's the same one. I'm like a little kid. I'm like 20 years old, and I'm doing the la 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 la. The little scales and everything.
Okay, yeah. I know that's funny scales. Yeah.
And I hear myself as a little younger guy. It's funny. I'm talking on there and everything, but I use that for shows. I always use that same one up. But I went to see a lady in Nashville. It's a younger girl named Kristen Smith. And she was amazing. She helped me with my breathing, because I was we weren't consistently out a lot of times. And if you're not using it, it's kind of like a muscle. You'll kind of blow it. And then it kind of, so she helped me get some breathing exercises. I know this sounds funny, but do y'all follow Tony Harnell? Do you know who that is from TNT? You remember that thing?
Yep.
Yes.
He had something online recently that was a vocal training thing that I clicked on. He's an awesome singer. That dude you talk about high notes. That guy can hit them. He's really,
like a teacher.
I have just tried to stay consistent with that breathing part. I think that's the most important thing. A lot of times I get really excited to go on stage, and you get out of breath, and then it makes it really kind of hard for you to sing. You're spending the whole time trying to catch up, so you have to really focus on relaxing. You just have to try to be.
To have the old air to pull the air and let it out. Yeah.
Yeah, and a lot of times I'll sing for my throat, and it's But anyway, I still have a lot of work to do. Just maintaining it. There's so many great singers, and this guy would laugh if he knew I was saying his name right now. But there's a guy here in Tennessee, in Nashville, named Greg Mangus. He's a great singer.
I haven't. That's cool.
And he sits in. They have a really great rock scene here. What I was telling you before. There was a group of musicians here that formed a thing called the Rock and Roll Residency. I don't know if you've ever heard of them before. No. Right now, they back up Gene Simmons and Ace Frehley. They're bands. But they had local shows here when they weren't on the road, and they would have all these guest people sit in. Everybody, man. I mean, they had Alice Cooper's whole band showed up and played one time. They played a bunch of the guys from the showed up. The singer for Cheap Trick, Robin Zander, was there one day.
Yes.
Yeah, the guy,
amazing.
The band Hellstrom, they were there. I'm trying to think.
Nice.
They've had just guests all the time, and all the local musicians are incredible here. I mean, they're just I can't say enough good things about Nashville. It's a great rock scene. It's a great community. They all support each other. They're super talented. And they're all down to earth. They're like super humble. You see them play, and you just go,
"Very cool, very cool."
Talk to them. They're just so down to earth. They're just really
exactly. That's the thing. That's the thing to be down to earth. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah. Tony, I have this question. Later on, I will translate this one, but this is a personal one because I'm a huge fan of Tora Tora. There was a song that every time that I went out with some girl and was having some beers and something, and we were on the road, and we were there was this big song I love to have on the road with one beer. Don't do this, guys. Don't do this. I did that back in the day, but I love to do this. To play the song that One for the Road. One for the Road was a song that I really love. I really love that song. I really love it, and I have back in the day I had my beer. I start drinking it. For the road, but I cannot sing like you. I cannot sing like you. But that song. Can you tell me what about the song? How you came up with this song? Tell me kind of the story of this. So, man
Keith was the one that came up. He had the music and stuff, and it was kind of, we felt like it was kind of in the vein of like some early Zeppelin, like Communication Breakdown or something. We kind of had a vibe going on that, but really what was going on with us back then was we just wanted to celebrate, man, being together. We didn't really take it for granted. We felt like we were riding lightning. I mean, we were like, man, this could end any second, so let's just have a great time. And we started thinking about the song. There was a place next door to the studio called Molly's La Casita. It was a Mexican restaurant.
Cool.
We used to spend time in there. They had the most awesome margaritas. And that's
great.
Margaritas.
That song reminds me of that place because we would hang out in there. But we were about getting people together. Nobody was judging each other. It was a safe place where people could get together and hang out. In our community, the culture that we were trying to create around our band was about inclusiveness. Like anybody was welcome. We wanted everybody to come have a good time and be together and love each other. And the One for the Road thing was about us going out and having a great time and just getting shit-faced and partying and, you know, just really having a good time, man. And we really wanted to do that everywhere we went. And we did it all over the world. Everywhere we went, we wanted to have a good time and make everybody have a good time.
That's pretty nice. Mike, adelante con la...
Yo quería hacerte una pregunta, Anthony. ¿Quieres traducir?
Pero Mike, la traducción, vamos con la traducción. Le preguntaba sobre el tema de la canción de One for the Road.
One for the Road.
Ya, que esto exactamente da. Cheers, man.
Salud.
En lo personal es una canción que adoro de Tora Tora. Y nos comentaba cómo nació esta canción. Estaban, reunidos 15 personas. Ahí, Mike, ahí puedes agregar ahí algo. Pero estaban mencionando esto, ¿no? Que estaba con 15 personas. Estaban echando el cotorreo. No había forma. Todos eran bienvenidos para el cotorreo. Echar el cotorreo, echar el traguito, todo. Es una canción, es una joya. Y Mike, ¿hay algo que puedas ahí agregar?
No, más bien tú, viejo.
Ok, pero realmente sí. Entonces, eso nos comentaba cómo había nacido básicamente la historia de esta canción. Yo le comenté mi historia de cómo yo iba en el coche con alguien, de repente echando trago y siguiendo este rock and roll, y esa rola era la que me ponía, ¿no? Realmente. Mike, antes de que entres a tu pregunta, esto es una petición especial a Anthony.
A ver.
Anthony, okay. Anthony, I want to ask you a special favor for my boss. I'm gonna be late in Monday, so you please. He's a huge fan. He's a huge fan for Tora Tora. He's an American guy. He's from Pittsburgh. So could you say hello to Joel Rubinstein? So please.
Oh, Rubinstein, how are you?
Tell him I'm gonna be late. So
he's gonna be late Monday. Don't get him in trouble.
That's pretty cool. Thank you. Go ahead. Adelante, Mike, adelante.
Gracias. Ahorita que comentaba Anthony acerca de los discos, bueno, de la última pregunta, sacó a colación al señor Gene Simmons y a Paul Ice Presley, ¿no? Entonces, yo quería hacerle una pregunta acerca de Kiss. I want to ask you a question.
He's gonna blow your brains out, man.
And I think it's an important question, because I think this record could be the reason you want to create music and want to be in a rock band. How do you think, or what do you think about the Destroyer record of Kiss?
Oh my gosh. Oh,
I know
that is a reason. The reason
I knew that
you decide to have a band. Can you tell us about that?
Yes, man. It was that was probably the thing that turned me on to rock and roll. My aunt is the reason I play guitar. She taught me guitar. She was about 10 years older than me, and she got Destroyer. She came in. She was probably 16. I was probably 6 years old or something. And she played the record, and I'll never forget God of Thunder. It came
God of Thunder.
Voices. It scared me, man. I left. I was like, what is that? And I had to go back in. I was like, I got to go listen to more of this. And then I heard Detroit Rock City shouted out loud. That whole record, just blew me away, man. And I became a huge fan from that moment on. Destroyers, my introduction. Kiss Alive, that first Alive record. I've got it right over here in my house.
Yeah, really.
I still I'm not kidding. Everything from Nothing to Lose to the 100,000 Year drum solo. At the very beginning when I heard it, I thought I was going to be a drummer. I wanted to be Peter Criss.
Oh, really?
Yeah, really?
I loved it. I loved the
drum.
One
of your idols.
And but I remember, man, getting a tennis racket and jumping around in my room, man, getting on my bed. The crowd was cheering, and I was just like, I want to do that. This is what I want to do, man. And we followed them. My cousin and I, he was a couple of years older than me. We followed the band for a long time. It was really funny. My family wouldn't let me be a part of the Kiss Army. They were like Southern Baptist. They were kind of Baptist. They were kind of strict. Like, we don't want you to join the Kiss Army. But I had a neighbor up the road that I lived out way out in the sticks in Mississippi. And so I went up this gravel road to this guy's house, and he would have the mailing marketing materials from Kiss. And we would just sit on the floor and look at belt buckles and all the things you
all
get.
the paraphernalia, yes.
Shirts, we just couldn't believe it, you know. And I had an opportunity to go see them for Dynasty, okay?
The Dynasty, yes.
My aunt and uncle bought me a ticket. My parents didn't let me go. They did not.
Really?
Really?
My cousin, he was a couple got to go. So vision this in your head. I'm on a gravel road. My cousin gets in the car. The car pulls out. Dirt is flying up.
You run, and you jump into the car,
and he goes in the window like this,
like a movie, yeah.
I'm going to Kiss.
The Kiss concert. Wow.
But he came back. He brought the concert book back, and we just sat there. He told me everything about the show. I mean, I didn't get to see them until I was older, and they were still amazing even then. That the show, the production, and everything, but there was just something about them that just sparked something in me. I loved it, man. They kind of turned me on. And then as we got older, you know, we started discovering everybody else, Van Halen and Cheap Trick, Rush, and all those people. And I loved Led Zeppelin and Janis Joplin and Bad Company. You know, I loved Rogers. We were more kind of we listened to the classic rock stuff, Aerosmith and all those kind of things. And then as we were growing up, bands like Tesla and bands like that were.
I mean,
John Gert.
Man, that singer, Jeff Keith, he's amazing.
Oh, yeah.
Jeff Keith, yes.
I love Tesla also.
Love song.
Great, he's great. But yeah, that blows my mind. The Kiss thing, that's too much, man. That was funny.
So Kiss is like an important band, and the Destroyer record is an important record for you to make a decision to create a band.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, they were a big part of it. We had a lot of different influences. Keith and John and Patrick were all friends before I joined the band. They were a couple of years older than me, the other three guys.
Yeah.
They were already out of high school, and I was still in school. I left high school in 12th grade to do the rock and roll thing. And but they listened to like Iron Maiden and Judas Priest, and they kind of corrupted me. They got me into
they corrupt you.
So it was funny. They had a band before Tora Tora called Lycanthrope. You know, like
yeah. I've heard we're going to hear that one. There's something. There's music around. We can find something about that.
I'll have to ask them. I don't know.
Oh. Tell them, and we will be really happy to listen to that.
Yeah, it was really funny, but
it would be amazing.
I just remember it was awesome when we first met each other, and I remember I went over to audition. It was at my bass player's their house, you know, the parents, and they had all their equipment set up in the living room, and I was so nervous, man, because I thought they were, you know, experienced and they had, you know, they were older than me and everything, and I walked in and I think I brought my acoustic and I was going to play like some kind of ballad, you know, I don't know, an Eagle song or something. And they just go, "That's awesome, but do you know some Aerosmith? Do you know Cheap Trick?" You know, they what songs I wanted to cover, and they were just great. The minute we met, we all kind of clicked, and we just knew.
That's a really important thing when you're with a band. If they're not this kind of like it's like I think it's kind of like dancing. If you cannot follow you cannot follow the step. You cannot follow anything, and you have to have the same vibe, the same mood. And I think that this click is very important. Yeah. Outside of the music and inside of the music, so it's really important. Yeah. And that's huge. That's huge. What you were saying, but also when you came to that audition, I guess in your mind you were thinking that I got this voice, man. I got the voice.
Well, I didn't know what to think. I had kind of played with a little local, you know, neighborhood band. We had played like at the talent show and stuff, but I really didn't have any experience. The first show we played, that had any people. I don't even think I looked at the audience. I stared at my feet the whole time. I was like, you know,
you were nervous.
so
and you were nervous.
and they looked at me and went, "You got to move around. What are you doing?"
Okay, and Anthony, did you at the high school or school you studied singing, or you're just like a lyric guy?
No, I started singing, and my whole family sang. You know, that I was telling y'all earlier. I never sang around them. I was always embarrassed. I was really quiet and stayed away because they were really talented. They really are super talented. Even now, they're still great. But my aunt, Melissa, is probably the reason I started singing. She started playing guitar with me, showing me some chords, and
That's cool.
turned me on to like Boston and Foreigner and all these other bands that, you know, I didn't know who they were, but I was like, okay, cool. And then she was playing like Leonard Skinner and stuff like that. And so I started kind of.
Leonard Skinner.
Yeah, that Second Helping record. I mean, that was a big.
I know. It's also.
Yeah. We did some show with them a couple of years back. We had a friend. We did a thing for Wounded Warriors, and I got to play the show. And I brought my uncle and aunts and stuff to the show to see the band. You know, it was really fun.
Oh, that's
Anthony,
Perdón, vamos a traducir un poco para la gente, que la gente nos
okay, sí. Mira, yo le había preguntado a Anthony, bueno, había mencionado en la pregunta anterior acerca de Gene Simmons y Ice Frehley, ¿no? De Kiss. Entonces, bueno, yo había escuchado y ya sabía yo que Kiss, y en especial el disco de Destroyer, era un disco que fue fundamental para que Anthony decidiera armar una carrera como músico, como rockero y armar su banda, ¿no? Entonces, pues le hice la pregunta y me dijo que sí, efectivamente, tengo entendido que creo que fue su prima, que tenía 10 años más, era mayor que él, y le puso el disco, fue la primera vez que escuchó Kiss, ¿no? Entonces estuve escuchando God of Thunder, varios de los temas sí, y le pareció increíble, ¿no? Los coros, y luego posteriormente, pues obviamente, se adentraron a escuchar mucho más Kiss, el Kiss Alive, que también es uno de los discos favoritos de Anthony, que también, inclusive lo tiene por ahí. También es uno de los discos que también marcó mucho la pauta para que él decidiera hacer una banda de rock. Nos comentó que también, obviamente, pues ha escuchado bandas de rock progresivo como Boston, como Foreigner, obviamente bandas como Eversmith, Led Zeppelin, que también ha sido pues parte de la escuela, ¿no? Que ellos tienen como influencia y que, bueno, son de música fundamental, ¿no? Para él, para formar una banda, ¿no? ¿Algo que quieras complementar, Dani?
Pues,
sí.
Bueno, básicamente lo concentraste todo perfectamente bien. Hacerle una pregunta aquí a Anthony acerca de, porque estamos cerca de llegar a nos estamos robando ya decimos que es nuestro Anthony. Anthony, bueno, básicamente es una pregunta acerca de la experiencia en el Monster Cruise of Rock, okay? Anthony, we're close to the end. I know we're stealing you some time. This could be so great. I don't know, but this is huge, man. This is huge. But let us know something. This is kind of the Monsters Rock Cruise. This was something that was created like a kind of experience in a cruise, and I don't know. Maybe you can tell us what it's about, what happened in there. I know that was Eddie Trunk was the host. We had Don Jameson, all the that metal show stuff. So, and how was the vibe? How was the people feeling in the cruise? How you felt? It was a new experience. So, how you felt? You were in arenas, you were playing in bars, you were playing everywhere. But in a cruise, how you felt about that?
Man, it was amazing. It was so awesome. They had approached us for a couple of times, and we couldn't get our schedules lined up to go. And there was a lady here in Nashville, April Lee is her name. She had come up to me and she said, "Hey, you really should go do this. You're going to love it. If you go, you'll freak out." Okay, and cool. We just talked to the band. We all said, "Let's block out the time and let's go." And the first one we did was 2017. And y'all, it was the most awesome experience. I'm not kidding. It was so cool. There was probably like 40 bands. Everybody gets
40 bands.
Get on a boat.
In a cruise.
Would you prefer that? You prefer, sorry, Anthony, you prefer that from, if someone tells you, you're gonna play in the stadium or you're gonna play in a cruise, what would you choose?
I like them equal. I like both of them.
Yeah.
I want to be in front of people, but man, the boat was amazing because it's about, I think it was like 3,000 people, 2,500 or 3,000 people on this boat. And
Wow.
on there, and all the bands we were talking about, Tesla, Kicks, Extreme. There was the guys from Saxon were on there.
Oh, Saxon. Oh my.
I'm trying to think. Oh, King's X was on there. Killer Dwarves. There was a whole list of them. I'm leaving a bunch of people off.
Okay.
Kicks, I love Kicks. I went and saw them each time they played. But anyway, the whole shows were amazing. They had them in clubs. They had you in a big theater. They had them outside by the swimming pool. There was a huge stage on top of the boat where everybody would go hang out. The experience was awesome because you get to interact with everybody. You're all like on this boat. You're floating around out in the middle of the ocean together. Everybody's drinking. Wow. It was tons of music, like
having a good time. Yeah.
They had acoustic. John Corabi was on there playing acoustic.
Oh,
wow!
He's a huge fan. He's a huge fan from John Corabi and Motley Crue. So
yeah. It was awesome. And we had the best time. Y'all, excuse me. I think my computer's about to die.
Oh, that's good.
Okay.
Cool. A second. But yeah. So John Corabi was there. But the whole time it's about spending time with each other. We had the greatest trip. The shows were awesome. We did it twice, but we kind of found our tribe. You know, we like ran into everybody. Everybody was like us. We were all fans. We went and saw the bands we loved to hear. They played all the music. It was just an incredible experience. We did 2017 and 2019. Hopefully we'll get to go again. It was so fun. They have all kind of activities. You cook with everybody. You can go and mix drinks with people. You're kind of going back and forth to all the different venues. It's awesome. If you ever get a chance to go, it was worth it.
I will. Certainly, I will.
I will too. Amazing. 40 bandas. No, super bien. Amazing, my friend. No, don't worry.
That's pretty cool. We're going to translate a little bit. Estamos preguntándole sobre el Monsters Cruise of Rock, que es como una especie de festival, pero en el crucero. Y nos explica que te puedes echar bueno, aparte de vivir la experiencia, que es una experiencia súper importante para ellos como bandas, que es como que algo diferente y que lo pone al mismo nivel que estar tocando en un estadio. En un
estadio o en una arena.
Entonces, realmente es algo muy impresionante que puedes estar cotorreando con la gente, vas escuchando la banda. Hay muchas bandas tocando.
Hay varios escenarios.
Y pues,
son 40 bandas las que tocan. Sí.
Ahí alrededor puedes estar conviviendo con la gente. Mike, adelante. Well, I don't know how I don't know if you have maybe 10 minutes more for this. You're okay?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, okay. Mike, go ahead.
Okay. I want to ask you, Anthony, if there's a possibility that in the future, all the bands that you mentioned, Tesla, some bands that you share the stage with, if there's a possibility in the future that you can make a festival with these bands, for mention Tesla or Elegance or Kicks, that you have a good relation, or maybe Cinderella, Tom Kiefer's band, that you can make a festival I don't know, maybe in this year or in the next year, 22.
Yeah, we would love to do that. We would love to. We actually were working with a friend of ours in Memphis to do something. Unfortunately, he passed away this past year.
I'm sorry, my friend.
He was one of my best friends. He started out the same time I started singing. He started promoting shows, and so we had done shows with him every year. But we want to do something like that eventually. I'm not sure exactly how we're going to approach it now moving forward, but with all the bands that you're talking about, we would love to do. We're with, we did an announcement recently. We just signed with a new booking agent, PKO. So we're very excited about that. We're working with a guy named Alex Gilbert over there. So hopefully he's going to help us get lined up with some of these other bands. I think we'll be able to get some shows. And it's really important for us. We're kind of limited on the dates that we get to do out, that we play. I think we did maybe 20 shows in 2019.
Okay.
So we want to go and get the most bang for the buck when we go. We love doing the festivals and getting to be on the ticket with all the other bands. That's really important to us for just exposure and getting access to the audience.
Yes, of
Like
course.
you guys tonight have given me a chance to talk to the audience, man. I can't tell you how much I appreciate y'all letting me do it. That's
Oh,
really,
thank you, my friend.
Mike, adelante
Okay.
con la...
Sí, bueno, lo que le estaba preguntando a Anthony es que qué posibilidad, digo, como estábamos mencionando muchos grupos de los cuales, pues también ha compartido el escenario, Tora Tora ha compartido el escenario pues con Kicks o con Tesla, y son bandas con las que tienen buena relación, y bueno, yo le preguntaba si hay en algún momento, digamos ahorita que pase lo de la pandemia, si hay posibilidad de que puedan hacer un festival en el cual se puedan reunir estas bandas con las que ha tocado. Y pues nos dijo que sí, hay unos planes, han estado tratando de hacer, digo, ahorita por la pandemia pues están encerrados, pero tenían el plan de hacerlo, solo que ahorita el promotor con el que mencionó, que es un amigo de él, uno de sus mejores amigos, falleció y pues no se pudo concretar, pero se tiene el plan de poder hacerlo más adelante. Sí se tiene la intención de hacerlo y bueno, pues obviamente esperamos que si se hace esta gira, pues igual puedan contemplar la Ciudad de México, ¿no? Y Latinoamérica, más que nada, ¿no?
Come to Mexico, don't come to
Sí.
Mexico.
oh man, we got to do it. We got to make that happen. As soon as
Yeah.
we get all clear, we can travel again. We need to make that happen.
And I hope we can visit you there in Memphis or in Nashville.
Yeah,
That's right. Really cool, Mike. Nice one.
It's my compromise. It's my
Let's
compromise.
go. Anthony, le voy a preguntar a Anthony acerca de la canción de Dancing with a Gypsy. Le voy a preguntar, ese salió en la película Bill and Ted, entonces le voy a preguntar sobre esto. Anthony, the song Dancing with a Gypsy
yes,
appeared in the soundtrack of Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure.
yeah.
So tell me how this happened and how you felt about being in a, well, at the moment it was just a movie, but
Yeah.
it's one of iconic rock music movies. So how you felt back in the day and how you feel today with that what the situation? Go ahead, Anthony. Go ahead.
And it was so amazing. That song was one of the first 4 that we cut to shop to record labels. We cut Dance with Gypsy and Love's a Bitch and Phantom Rider. There was one other one I'm drawing a blank on right now. But when we had been approved to sign with A&M, they told us that they were doing a soundtrack, the record label, and they said, we want to put your song in the movie, Dancing with.
Oh, man.
That was one of the first songs that we wrote as a band. It was a really early song. We were just trying to figure stuff out, but we loved the opportunity. We couldn't believe it. I remember going to the theater with all my friends to watch the movie, and
really
see the song.
Cool. It's pretty cool, man. You have the ticket. You have the ticket.
Hang on a second.
You still have the ticket? Wow.
Pretty cool.
This is something that's going to freak you out. My son, for my birthday, gave me this. I don't know if you guys can see it or not. It says "Wow."
Yes.
Oh, the Wild Stallion.
Wow.
Excellent.
This is the Bill and Ted. Excellent. He gave me this for my birthday. Somebody did a reprint, and he gave me the. So we were so excited, y'all. A lot of people recognized the song from the movie, and they came out, and it gave us an opportunity to, have exposure and awareness to the band. It was right before the first came out. The Bill and Ted's song came out first, and then we dropped Walking Shoes right after that. So it was amazing. It was so fun. I actually still have a T-shirt from Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure.
Pretty cool. So you love the movie. You love the movie.
That boy, my sons really think it's funny. They followed it and kept up with it and all that stuff. So it was just awesome, man. The movie now, they've let out the 3rd edition or whatever, and it kind of came back and people had talked to us about it. So it's something we still, enjoyed the process of recording and all that stuff. It was amazing. So
being part of that, yes.
A lot of fun.
That's amazing.
So let's translate this. Bueno, nos estaba comentando Anthony. Le preguntábamos acerca de esta canción, de Dancing with a Gypsy. Esta canción, Mike, ¿quieres? Échale,
Sí,
Mike.
salió esta canción, pues la promovieron en la película de Bill and Ted's Bogus Journey.
No,
Entonces, bueno, pues
Excellent Adventure.
Excellent Adventure, sí es cierto, Excellent Adventure. Y bueno, la pregunta fue, ¿qué fue la experiencia que le dejó, no? Bueno, cómo sucedió esto. Y bueno, ahí comenta que pues inclusive fueron a ver al cine con sus amigos, fueron a ver la película. Y pues para oír la canción y todo esto, pues fue realmente como de sorpresa que les cayó esto, les hicieron la invitación para subir la canción. La canción pues era una de las primeras canciones que habían grabado y bueno, pues les cayó de sorpresa que pudieran incluirla en la película, lo cual pues a ellos les pareció una forma pues de promoción muy buena, porque pues era una película que iba a salir, una película que iba a hacer mucha promoción, y iba a haber muchas bandas también ahí dentro del soundtrack, y pues les pareció una oportunidad fantástica el poder promover esta canción. Habían tenido otras 4 canciones que pudieran haber escogido, entre ellas pues estaba Tomb Raider y estaba esta. Decidieron por escogerla y bueno, pues hizo la promoción y la verdad es que les fue muy bien. Primero salió el tema de la película, que fue la de Bill and Ted's, y después salió la rola de Tora Tora, y Dancing with the Gypsy pues, fue una canción que les dio ahora sí que fue como una catapulta, ¿no? Para darle un poco más de promoción a la banda y de que se conociera, pues no solo a nivel en Estados Unidos, sino también en todo el mundo, ¿no? Porque pues, la película se vio en todo el mundo. Entonces, pues fue una gran experiencia. Inclusive nos comentó que también tiene el boleto ahí, que lo conservaba, y pues es un buen recuerdo. Obviamente, pues es una gran experiencia la que tuvieron ellos, ¿no?
The Teacher, tiene la playera y tiene todo, igual los tallos.
También conserva la playera y bueno, pues le preguntábamos si le gustaba la película, dijo que sí le gusta, a su hijo le parece que es una película muy, que es cómica, ¿no? que está muy bien y que pues le gustó mucho la experiencia que vivieron, ¿no? Con la promoción de este sencillo en la película.
Well, Anthony, bueno, diciéndole a toda la gente por acá, pero well, Anthony, this is time to, we wouldn't want to close this chat with you. We hope you had a great moment, but also we would like to have another interview with you. It's like a second part of this. It would be great for us.
We'll probably do that.
Would be awesome.
That would be amazing.
I would be honored. I'm serious.
We're honored.
No, it's an honor for us, my friend.
It's a really honor for us.
It's an honor.
It's been so fun. I just appreciate y'all giving me a platform to talk to the audience and to tell everybody just that we love them. We're thinking about them. I know we're going through a hard time right now, but we're all going to get together. Music is going to save us, man. We're all going to get back together. We're going to do it.
Really cool. Really, Mike, dale.
Sí, I want to thank you, Anthony, for this time in the interview. It's an honor for me and a pleasure to meet you. And also, I want to say I'm a big fan, and thank you for being with me in bad times and good times with your music, because the songs of Tora Tora, it's part of the soundtrack of my life.
Oh, man.
Thank you very much, my friend, and I hope to see you again in another interview. Hope to see you in Memphis or in Tennessee.
Or in Nashville.
It would be a great, or in Nashville.
Yes, man.
So thank you very much for your time, and have a good night, my friend.
You too.
Thank you, Anthony.
Anthony, thanks a lot for this interview. Love you, man. Love your music. Love Tora Tora.
Thank you,
and
man.
I hope too we have a second part of this one.
We'll do it.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. And you know what? There's a thing that I do every time we close an interview, and it's called this way: is keep rocking.
Yeah.
Keep rocking, my friend.
Bye-bye.
Bye, guys.
Hugs, my friend.